Hi. Hello. I am back. I'm still bad at intros. Hi. Apologies for how loud my laptop fan is. You'll find out why it's doing that later. But yes, I'm back. We missed out on like 4 streams because I'm... Hello, Kaz. Welcome, welcome. We missed out on like 4 streams because I went to go visit my parents. And obviously I wasn't going to stream while I was there. But yes, I am back. I only just got home yesterday. I got home at like 6 p.m. How is the family? Good. Like my dad's having some issues, I think, with his arm. But like, my dad has issues with everything. He doesn't. He's putting it off getting it checked out because he doesn't want to go to the hospital. But that's just how my dad is at this point. I feel bad about it, but at the same time, like, I'm used to it at this point. My dad's had a lot of stuff going with him, but he's in good spirits, so that was good. Yeah, I had a good time over the weekend. Well, long-ish weekend. Over the Christmas period, we'll describe it as that. I went up on Friday, I left Tuesday. So basically the weekend. I like to describe... hello, Theo, welcome. I like to describe going to visit my parents as like forced relaxation. Because like I can't do all the stuff that I would normally do at home. You know, I go up, I spend time with my parents, I do all this stuff that like is so far removed from my regular routine. I'm just sort of forced to relax. Which is good for me because when I'm at home, I feel the need to be productive. Though that's not to say I wasn't productive while I was there. I did work on my trading card game a little, as well as drawing some stuff. But you know, I still had a relaxing time, so that was good. Forced relaxation. Yeah. It was good. What did we do while I was up there? We did a puzzle. That's like a tradition. Whenever I go up to visit my family, we have to do a jigsaw puzzle. So that was fun. It was Christmas themed this time. I put a photo of that up on Twitter. I didn't save that, so I'm not going to bring it up right now. I did close Chrome, right? Yes, good. But yeah, that was fun. We played some games. I don't know the English names for them. We played Bool, which I think is another name for bocce. And we also played Schuller, which I think is a Dutch game, but I don't know if it has an English name. My mom's Dutch, in case you weren't aware. But yeah. Played some games, we did some puzzles. We didn't do presents this year, which I was very thankful for, because before my mom sent me that message saying like, hey, we're not going to do puzzles, we're not going to do presents this year, we're just going to, you know, spend some time together, that sort of thing. I was stressing out like, what do I buy them? What do I buy everyone? I don't know. I'm not good at buying presents. So I was very thankful I didn't have to worry about that. I did come home with some cookies though. So that's nice. Dutch cookies. Oh yeah, I didn't save the image, so I can't show it, but I helped decorate the Christmas tree. We put it up super fast. What else did we do? Most of it was relaxation time. And like half the time I was like half asleep because I just didn't sleep well at all while I was up there. The temperature out in the country, my parents live out in the country, by the way. So like the temperature out there is so hot trying to get to sleep But then I wake up and in the middle of the night it's like freezing cold. So I kept waking up really early and like being unable to get to sleep because like the temperature had shifted so much. Which, to be fair, it does a little here in the city as well, but like not as drastically as that. Oh, by the way, sunscreen is important. In case you couldn't tell, like you can see me, I'm pale as frick. I got sunburnt real bad. Mainly on one side though, because we were sitting on like the porch or whatever it was called. The porch in the morning. I had one side facing towards the sun. That arm got burnt to hell. My other arm completely fine. It's not too painful though. Like, as long as I'm not like rubbing it or scratching it or whatever, it's fine. But yeah, sunscreen is important. Also, like I said, I did do a little work on my trading card game. Every ability that exists in Smash Bros. Ultimate now has an effect for the trading card game. I didn't do any of the stuff that was on my to-do list. I still need to figure out the cost for Fighter Spirit abilities and figure out how Fighter Spirit cards are going to look. But I'm getting pretty close to, you know, getting to a point where I can just make cards and get it in a playable state. So I might start pestering people. I'm like, hey, do you want to play test this with me? At some point. I also drew some stuff, but we're going to get into that a bit later in the stream. I volunteer, let's go. I think that's most of what happened while I was away. The train, I hate the train. 6 hours in the train, kids sitting behind me. Absolute arse. It was delayed too, so I got home later. I missed the earlier bus. 6 hours, yeah. We're going from the city to the country. That's a long-ass train. It was either 6 hours by train or 6 hours by car, and I think my brother sold his car, because, like, they just use his girlfriend's car now. Yeah, long-ass train ride. Not particularly fun, but I made do. I made do with what I could do. Also, not quite while I was away, but I did some testing this morning, because I've mentioned on stream before, my TV's been having a weird issue, where like the sound just, I hear like a little pop sound, and then the sound just doesn't work anymore. And I did some testing this morning. Turns out, it's probably just because it's not supposed to be used as a monitor for a computer. And my laptop's like shorting it out or something. Because when I was just using it with my Switch, no problems. So I was thinking like, oh man, am I gonna have to buy a new TV as well? No, probably not. So that's cool. But I think, like I said, I didn't really do much while I was away. It was mostly relaxation time, so I don't really have too much to talk about, I guess. Do I don't know, my parents, like, aside from my dad's health issues that are always a thing, my parents are both keeping in good spirits, are doing well. My dad's 60 now. It's getting on in years. Apparently they had a super big celebration, like big party, and I am very glad that I didn't attend because that would be way too many people for me. Hello, Rai. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, the fridge was well stocked because of that. It's probably still well stocked now that my brother and I have left because we couldn't take any of it home because we went by train. But I think my mum might be coming down to visit in January, because she's attending like an art exhibition or whatever in the city. They haven't decided whether she's going to drive down or whether she's going to take the train. If she drives down, she may bring some stuff for me and my brother. But we shall see. So I think that's most of what I can really say about my time away. It wasn't that long, really. Shorter than I usually do over Christmas, but that's, I guess, because we went by train instead of driving up. Yeah. Oh, I almost forgot. You know how I've been mentioning throughout this entire year that I've been, whenever something reminded me of sushi, I was like, oh man, it's been ages since I had sushi, I should get some. And then I just didn't. All year. I finally had sushi. We made it ourselves. It was good. Not as good the next day after it's been in the fridge. It kind of goes a bit dry. Still good though. Sushi! I do prefer, like, sushi's always expensive if you're not in Japan. Yeah. We used to have a sushi train in town where my parents lives. I don't know if it's still there, but it was great. I like it. I haven't had a look around the area. Maybe I can... Maybe there's a place near here I can order some or something. But anyway, sushi. I finally had some. So that was great. But yeah. We didn't do presents, so Christmas was mainly good food and good company. But now that Christmas is over, I've still got like a week and a half off from work before I have to go back to the daily grind. So what am I gonna be doing? Well, for one, announcement. My 1 year anniversary of my my debut, which was back over on YouTube, not on Twitch, is January 2nd. So I'm going to be celebrating with a karaoke stream because I wasn't able to do the cover I wanted to do. Yay, I still haven't fully planned out the set list. I've got like maybe half sorted. I don't know what I'm going to fill the other half with. I've realized that I used up most of the Japanese songs that I know in my first karaoke stream, and I don't want to repeat myself. So I don't know what I'm going to be singing. I know, like, I think we're going to start off with a bunch of songs that, like, were candidates for what my anniversary cover could have been, and then move into just regular stuff. So you will get the song that I would have done a cover of. It's just going to be karaoke instead of a cover. I need to practice. I need to finish the set list and then I need to practice. Yeah, I'll just leave that in the corner there. That's like a little advertisement or whatever. I'll do a proper post up on Twitter and whatnot after the stream, just so folks can like figure out what time it is in their time zone. It's probably gonna be New Year's Day for most people, but you know, if you're like me, you don't have any like festivities to attend, you don't have anything to do New Year's Day, you can come watch me sing. It's probably a good thing that it's on a big holiday, so less people will be available. Because I have not practiced at all. I have barbecue on New Year's, nice. Good thing I have no plans. Oh no. It's Theo's debut anniversary as well, I'm pretty sure. in on January 1st, which is January 2nd in my time zone. Oh man, Theo, you got any requests? Maybe I can fit it on the set list. What else? I'm probably still going to be streaming, like, oh, well, it's already Wednesday, so next week, I think it's going to be Monday in my time zone, and then we'll also do the Wednesday, since I have time off. However, end of year sales are here. It's time for me to go looking for a PC. I'm gonna try and do that after this stream, basically. Just look into all that sort of stuff, try and compare specs, compare prices, and get myself a proper PC. As well as like a desk and a shelf for my brother's old room, so I can turn that into like an office type thing. The shelf is mainly... You mean a PC that literally does not fall apart on its hinges. Look, normally my laptop isn't like this, but I do want like a proper desktop PC, one that runs things a bit better, because like, I can't stream everything with my laptop, right? Like, you can probably hear the fan going right now, and this is just with OBS, VTube Studio, and Clip Studio Paint open, and I'll explain why Clip Studio Paint is open later. But yeah, I can't, like, I streamed Planet Zoo once, lowered the graphic settings like so much, it still lagged like hell. I want a proper desktop. So it's time for me to finally spend some money, because normally, like, I barely spend anything. I only buy things when I need to, or when it's something big that I want. But yeah, so once I have a PC and like my quote-unquote office is all set up, I'll be trying to stream from that instead of using my laptop. However, I do still need to finish my Game Dev Tycoon playthrough on my laptop, because I don't have it enabled to like back up my save data to the cloud or whatever. So plus if I start afresh, then that's like 5 new save files. I don't have to erase anything else. Yeah, I figure I'll probably finish Game Dev Tycoon this week, honestly. So that's probably not going to be an issue. Yeah, if once my PC's up and running, that means we can potentially do console streams again, which means Pokemon's back. I hope everything works fine. Speaking of Pokemon, I'm working on completing the decks in Legends Arceus, which I've got like a list of all of the Pokédex entries I still need to complete. I was doing some this morning. Apparently Pichu has no research tasks that involve using moves. It's all about catching it, which is annoying because Pichu is rare. But anyway, that might be a good like choice for like a late night stream when less people are going to be around and I just want something chill. Just finishing off the decks, and then I can transfer everything over from Arceus into Pokemon Home. But yes, PC. That is on my list. What else is on my list for things that I need to do over my break? First time I've completed decks, nice. My first and currently only time has been Pokemon Moon. And that's because like Sun and Moon are my favorite Pokemon games. So I wanted an excuse to play them more. So I'm just like, you know what, let's finish the decks. But yeah, I'm sure I had other things that I wanted to talk about for my regular Sun and Moon, or regular Sun and Moon. Ultra Sun and Moon, I wasn't as fond of the story. So regular Sun and Moon are my favorite, and Ultra Sun and Moon I guess I'd already completed the Sun Moon decks, so I didn't feel like doing the Ultra Sun Moon decks. I'm sure there were other things I wanted to talk about for like what I have planned for like my break. I only have like a week and a half left, basically. I cannot remember. My mind has gone blank. Oh no. Oh yeah, I started playing Plants vs. Zombies 2 on my phone. I was saving it in the hopes that maybe I could stream it. But like, I was having trouble getting my phone to be mirrored on my laptop. And then as it turns out, apparently if you don't have a stable internet connection, the game will just crash eventually, so... I think that's probably just going to be something I play on my own time. I've heard horror stories about it back when I was streaming the original PvZ, but like, seems fine to me at the moment. I might have a collab coming up soon, like just before my break ends. We haven't fully discussed things yet. We know there's going to be something, we haven't even decided on a game yet. But yeah, we don't have a time, we don't have a game, we haven't discussed which ones of us are going to be streaming our POVs. We have like 1 of 2 dates, and we have the people involved. Sounds like a perfect plan to me. Indeed. That should be fun. I don't do collabs often because I struggle at reaching out to people and discussing things. And also I have so many games to finish on my own. But you know, that should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I still need to... Yeah, this explains so much. Nice. Just trying to think, is there anything else that I have planned over the break? I don't think I really do. Like, I'm gonna finish Game Dev Tycoon. I'm going to... Like, we might at some point get the TCG working. I'm gonna get my PC and hopefully start streaming console games again. Because I've got, like, 5, like, console games that were in flight at the moment. Like, there's Pokemon's Violet that I'm going to be playing until I finish it. And then I've also still got, like, Danganronpa, Genosha, Xenoblade 2, and Mario's Super Picross that I was playing through before Pokemon Scarlet and Violet came out, and I dropped everything to play that. Working on that Smash TCG thingy, right? Really interesting, yeah. I still got a bit of the logistics to work out, and I need to sort out the card template a bit, but yeah, it's getting close to a point where I might be able to start making it playable, so excited. Oh, and for those who've been watching the Game Dev Tycoon playthrough and know about the fact that, like, I'm secretly planning things out to potentially make an original IP variant of the TCG. 2 more of the things from Game Dev Tycoon made in. One of them's the, what was it, Slime Crypt, Baby's First Dungeon Crawler, And one of them is Suburbia, which is basically The Sims. And don't ask me how you would represent The Sims in a game like Smash. I'm figuring it out as I go. But yeah, I think aside from the karaoke stream and the collab, it's basically going to be business as usual. Like, I'll finish off Game Dev Tycoon. I'll probably play a few random hidden object games in order to bide time until my PC is all set up. And then we'll go back to playing console games. Yeah. So that should be fun. So I guess we can go on to the other thing that I wanted to spend time talking about. I've really talked for half an hour, wow. And to think, like, earlier this year I was afraid of doing a Just Chatting stream because I didn't know what I'd talk about. I mean, this would still be short by my usual stream standards, but like this is more than I thought I was capable of. Oh yeah, this isn't related to like what I have planned over the break, but I wanted to stream, like, it's probably gonna be for like next year, like around my birthday or whatever. I want to stream a DS game. But I kind of don't want to emulate it because I don't like emulation, and I own a physical copy of the game. My plan earlier in the year was that I'd just point my webcam at it and do it like a hand cam stream of me playing a DS game. But like right now I'm having to use my webcam because my laptop webcam was kind of having problems. So I had to switch over to using my external webcam to control my VTuber model. So now I don't have a spare webcam to point it at my DS. So I don't know what I'm going to do there. Maybe I'll just emulate it. Maybe I'll buy a separate webcam just for hand cam streams. Who knows? Who knows? I still haven't gotten around to doing that stream where I clean out all my amiibo. They're dusty as hell. Although my amiibo are like one of the big reasons why I actually want to get a shelf for my little office room. It's because I'm running out of space in front of my TV for my amiibo. But yeah, I mentioned earlier that while I was away, I did a bit of drawing. So for those who don't know, one of the many worlds in my fictional multiverse, the proper amiibo problem's not enough space. One of the many worlds in my fictional multiverse is basically a monster catcher game like Pokemon, except it's not a game anymore because I'm not doing game development. But, so I'd drawn sketches of, like, the quote-unquote Gen 1, and then I came up with a bunch of creatures for Gen 2, but I never got around to drawing them. And then while I was away, I came up with another creature that I'm like, I want to use this, even though I said I wouldn't do a Gen 3 until I'd finished planning out the moves and abilities for Gen 1 and 2. So I'm not doing Gen 3 yet, but that creature is like the first creature of Gen 3. It's like a teaser. A teaser of what's to come, I guess. And then after I went and drew it, I figured, you know what? I haven't designed like any of the creatures of Gen 2. Let's draw a couple of those. And so I did. And then I think I want to do a stream just talking about my creature designs, because I'm pretty sure I mentioned at some point I wanted to do something like this, where I just like went through all my sketches and talked about the creatures and like which ones I would want to change and redesign and whatnot. So I figured, you know what, we can do that today. I want to have a like chill, just chatting stream. This could be a fun thing for that. Problem, OBS doesn't want to capture Windows Photo, so I couldn't pull up a slideshow of all the creatures that I've designed. So you know what I did? You know why my laptop fan is buzzing so loudly today? It's because I went and opened up all 216 images in Clip Studio Paint, and we're going to use that to look through them. This is probably the stupidest use of Clip Studio Paint ever, but it works. It works. So why don't we go and have a look at the thingies I've designed. Oh, by the way, just to explain the generations, Gen 1 is based on Australia because it started as a Pokemon fan region. Because I was like, why are they using all of these gosh darn Australian animals in other regions? I got so frustrated by Kamala being revealed for Gen 7 that I decided to make my own Pokemon fan region based on Australia. And then Gen 2 is based on the UK. I don't remember why, but I decided on using the UK. Or not specifically the UK, like the British Isles. So like England, Scotland, Wales, Ireland, that whole general area. Gen 3, because of the one creature I came up with, Gen 3 may end up being based on Japan, but we shall see. Anyway, let's go over to the thing so we can actually show these off. Which scene was it in? This one, I think? Yay! Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna pause the regular chat BGM because I feel like we're going to go insane if we have to listen to that the entire time. And I'll pop on... Oh wait, unmute desktop audio. I'll pop on the classic 75-minute compilation, relaxing Nintendo music compilation that I used for my drawing stream that one time. Put that on, let's see how loud that is. Oh no, that's an ad! I already filtered out the BGM. Give me a sec for that ad to end. Oh no, ads. Okay, the ad is over. Let me just adjust the volume, because it is super loud in my ear. Now we have music. This is why we have ad blocks. Anyway, yes. Hold on, let me move this to the other side of the screen. There we go. So this is the creature I came up with that I was so desperate to include that it may be the start of Gen 3. This is Marimochi. It's a Marimo moss ball mixed with a bocce ball. Because I was playing Bull or Bocce on the weekend, and I'm like, I want to make a creature based on this. And then I liked the idea enough that I didn't want it to just be a random throwaway thing. I wanted it to actually be part of my main multiverse. So this is the thing, my cursor is capturing. Cool. So it's at... Oh no. So it's basically just a fuzzy ball of... It's technically algae, but people call it moss. It has it only has little eyes. It probably has a mouth hidden in here somewhere. And then it has these lines on it because bocce balls in order to separate like which balls belong to which team, they either come in different colors or like the ones that my family has, they have different markings. So I figured what we could do is that like the Marimochi live in colonies with hold on. Is the BGM volume fine? Because it's still super loud in my ears. But yeah, what was I saying before I got distracted by the BGM? Think it's fine? Cool. Thank you. So I figured like they could live in groups with like the same, with other Marimochi with the same pattern. So like this one is like the two-stripe variant. It's got rings in sets of 2, but there could also be ones where it only has like 1 ring at each point, or ones where it has 3 rings, or ones where it has the 1 ring but they're spaced closer together. Those are the 4 variants that my family has. However, I figured just putting Marimo and Bocchi together would be, it's kind of simple, lame. I want it to be more interesting. So the reason it ends in an I instead of an E, like Bocce actually is because it's also based on mochi. Which is why Gen 5, Gen 3 rather, may end up being based on Japan. Because it's supposed to be soft and squishy like mochi. But then when it gets agitated, its algae that covers its body hardens like metal. So that was the idea there. I don't know, I thought it was a neat idea. I like it. It's the starter. It's probably going to make a cameo appearance somewhere in quote-unquote Gen 2. But it is the start of Gen 3 whenever I get around to making it. But since it was so simple, after I finished drawing it, I still had plenty of time to draw other things while my mum was working on... Oh, that's something I forgot to talk about. We did some art. My mum taught my brother and I how to make mandalas. I posted a photo of it up on Twitter. I forgot to save it so that I could show it here on stream, but Mom, I drew this while my mum was working on like a big mandala thing that she was working on. But after this, I was like, yep, let's draw more. So I started drawing some of the Gen 2 creatures. So we'll go through those, and then we can start going through the like frickin' 200-something, 211, I think, creatures that I did for Gen 1. Oh, by the way, I guess I'll mention it now. With like looking back at some of my creatures that I designed, there are some where I was like, I don't know how I feel about this, and I think for a bit I was like, I don't know, these don't really feel like Pokemon, they're just like whatever. But after like getting back to designing some new ones, I think that's fine. I think I'm fine with that, because like they're not Pokemon, so they shouldn't look like Pokemon. They're my creatures. They should look like things that I would design. Although there are still some that I want to rework, so. But anyway, let's look at some of the new ones. Hornest. It's based on a hornet. I forget the specific species. But this is the only one that I drew over the weekend that evolves. This one is the evolved form of these little dudes. Hornest is supposed to be like the queen of the hive or whatever. They're not Pokemon, they're Melomon. Officially, they're just called creatures, because I couldn't think of a better name, and now the name is stuck. Yeah, the idea here was like you have a big hornet, and then the thorax, I think it's called, is also a hornet hive. So I thought that was a neat idea, so I can carry the entire colony with it wherever it goes. And then when I was designing the specifics, I'm like, so I made the antenna sort of shaped like, it's supposed to give like the impression of like a queen's crown. And then I also, like the images I found gave like hornets like some sort of marking on its head, so I figured let's shape that like a more traditional crown shape to make it clear that it's the queen, and also has like a fur collar, and the markings around its abdomen, I think that's called, was supposed to give off the impression of like a cloak or something. Oh no, that's an ad. Goddamn ads. But then, so I designed this entire thing, and also, the nest isn't just for holding on to the colony of oh, these little dudes are called Vespark, by the way. So it's not just for housing the Vespark colony. It also amplifies the hornet's electricity, so it can like build up electricity and then fire it out of the hole like a freaking cannon. The only problem was like I designed Hornest with like all of these like regal and like queen aspects to it. I didn't put any electric in there. So I'm like, okay, how do I make it electric? Simple. Give its wing. Hornets, their wings look like they're all like, they have like a veiny pattern almost. So I'm like, okay, just put electric in there like it's a frickin' plasma globe or something. Because I've used that sort of design before, just not on a pair of wings, I think. Also, I know hornets are supposed to have 6 legs, this thing has 4. But for some reason I drew the little dude with 6, so maybe the other 2 legs are inside here somewhere. Yeah, I figured like it could generate electricity by like flapping its wings or whatever, and that's how it powers its attacks or something. Also, I don't know if the type is accurate. I didn't check my... You know what, let's just check now. Let me open it up right now. Did I get it right? Because I couldn't remember whether it was electric wind or electric toxic. The types, by the way, there's only 12 types for the creatures. There's normal, fire, water, nature, wind, earth, electric, toxic, metal, light, dark, and mythic. So we're going to get into a bit when we look at the ones from quote-unquote Gen 1, where like they might not seem like they fully fit the type, and that's because they used to be Pokemon types and then I had to reassign them. Where is it? Creature Tamer, there it is. What type is Hornest? Open it up. Open it up, there we go. Hornest. Okay, the type is wrong. Hornest is not electric wind. Hornest is electric toxic. Oops. But you can't really see any of the toxic aspects. I guess maybe I can make the nest like color it in a way that gives off the more toxic vibes. Oops. I just like I've got an electric wind bee, so I figured the other one would also be electric wind. It's not. It's electric toxic. Oops. Anyway, that's Hornest. I didn't draw Vespark for some reason. I just decided, yeah, let's move on to something else. And that something else was Musalek. This weird little dude is based on I believe it's called a zebra mussel, which are not native to the British Isles. They're native to, I believe, Russia and Ukraine and the Ukraine. Hello, Miko. Welcome. But they're very good at surviving basically anywhere. So they're an invasive species all over the world. So, you know, I decided to introduce it in the British one. Instead of making a toxic type, I decided to make it electric because I figured the stripes on a zebra mussel I could turn into like thunderbolts or whatever. And I could have made it water because it lives in water, but I have too many water types. I couldn't add more. The water, whenever I'm like coming up with a list of creatures for a new generation, water is always the type that fills up the quickest. But yeah. So I made it earth because I figured like maybe its shell is as tough as rocks or something. But like I was always going to like have it be inspired by sort of shoulder with like the eyes and the tongue, but have it be like more closed. And so I just sort of went weird with it. It's got like these little eyes that poke out. It's got a long ass tongue. And then when I was looking up reference images, I saw one that like it's not just the shell on like a rock or whatever. It actually showed like the weird like legs or tentacles or whatever peeking out. So I'm like, okay, I can work with this. Make this dude weird as hell. And so this is what I ended up with. It's an invasive species. So I also decided, like, with the abilities I've given it, I tried to make it as annoying as possible. Oh, I shouldn't have closed the document. I could have told you what abilities it has, but it's supposed to be very annoying to fight because that's just how it do. It's an invasive species. You don't want to deal with it. But I don't know. I like the design I came up for it. It's very weird, but I think that works. Even though it's an invasive species, I'm pretty sure, like, the Earth quote-unquote gym leader actually uses it on her team. And she's just like, I don't care if it's invasive, I use what I need to win. But yeah, I don't know if I have anything else I want to say about Musalek. The name's kind of a little lame, but I'm bad at names, so expect that for a lot of these things. Yeah, weird little dude. Next was Gastropod. Very simple design this time. This one is based on a ghost slug, which is just like a very long slug that is like pure white. Is that another goddamn ad? Yeah, like, I designed it, I'm like, this is so simple, what can I do to make it more interesting? And I just gave it a freaking terror of a mouth. So this is actually the ace creature of the the final gym leader. It's a freaking slug. There's not much to say about this one. It's really just a slug. I did kind of like, you can see it's erased a bit here. That was deliberate. I wanted its like the end of its tail to sort of fade out, similar to like Dragapult. But also its eyes are just like pure white and they like shine in the dark. And it covers its mouth most of the time because the inside of its mouth looks horrifying. Those are like, I drew like 4 rows of teeth. It probably has more though. Light dark type, it's an interesting typing. But yeah. Teeth! I don't know, I like this guy. is it does what it needs to. It's simple but effective, I think. And then lastly, the one creature that I'd drawn before, and then I more or less completely changed the design when I redrew it. Say Lonely. Dark water type. I don't remember whether I came up with this idea before Poltergeist was revealed or not, but it's basically a ghost made out of tea. So it's basically Poltergeist. My original design for it, I don't have it saved, but it originally was more like, well, let me see if I can pencil. It was originally more like it had the same sort of body shape, but it was longer, and it had like little arms like that. So more like a bodied ghost type thing. But I changed it to be more of just a little blob with a glowing eye. And I kind of liked it. It's very simple, so I compensated for that by giving it multiple forms. So I don't know if the stats would change between all of these forms. I feel like the stats would change at the very least between the loose form and all of the forms where it has a container. But I think it might just be like the container it's in depends on like the size of the Say Lonely. Oh, the name by the way, Say Lonely, comes from Ceylon tea, which is a common type of black tea, I believe. Yeah, so I think the smallest Say Lonelies get the teacup, then bigger get the glass, then the mug, and then the full-on teapot. Whereas dribbling out a bit at the end. So even then, this teapot's a little too small for this guy. It's very simple, but I think it works. And that's all of the creatures I've currently drawn for Gen 2. So I still have a lot that I haven't done, but maybe in the future. However, right now we're going to take a look at Gen 1 because there's a lot here. And some of these I feel like I'm probably going to have to redesign in the future because I'm not satisfied with their design rather. Let me just close these first. Less things open. You're probably going to get a quick glimpse at one of the like previously mythical, now it's basically just a legendary. But you will see it once I call beta designs part of the process. Alright, that's a thing. We'll come back to him once we reach the end. Now, the first few, the image quality is going to be kind of terrible. I'm pretty sure that's my knee. I don't know why I left it in the shot. Let's just zoom in a little so we don't have to see that. But anyway, Gen 1, first starter. This is the formerly grass, now nature. This is Brambat. It's a little bat. So, I think I don't know if there's still the running theory of like, oh, the starters share a particular theme across all the generations or whatever, but I was under the impression that grass types were based on prehistoric animals, fire types were based on the Chinese zodiac, and water types were all based on water-dwelling animals that aren't fish, which is Oh, and also there's like weapons involved in the water starters for some reason. I don't know if that still holds, because I'm pretty sure fire is completely out now. Because crocodile isn't on the on the Chinese zodiac. I don't think there's any weapons involved in the duck. And like, are there any prehistoric cats or something? So I think all the theming's out the window, but oh well. That's the theming that I went with when I was designing these. So I looked up... I don't think there are any actual prehistoric bat fossils found in Australia, but there are species of prehistoric bats, which was really my justification for making the starter a fruit bat. So it's called Brambat because the spikes on its wings are supposed to be representative of bramble. And then it also has like it's got his little fang. It's got like a little cravat made out of leaves and petals. Because you'll see this later. I also wanted to incorporate, even though it's based on a fruit bat, I also wanted to incorporate some like vampire elements. Because, I mean, it's a bat. What do you expect? Yeah, I think I was originally thinking maybe I should tweak the proportions a little to make it like, I don't know, make the head a bit bigger, body a little smaller, to make it like modern Pokemon starters are designed. Oh, that's another ad. They're giving me very quick ads right now. But I think looking at it again, I think I'm fine with how it is. Little dude's cute. I like him. When he evolves, not as cute. This is Nedaleko. Where now, like, he's got all these spiky bits on his cloak, around his neck, in his hair. Because now instead of being based on bramble, he's based on nettles. I'm gonna try not to go like super in depth on literally everything, otherwise we'll be here forever. But yeah, I feel like I want to tweak the design a little, but I don't know what I would do, because it also sort of serves the purpose of being that awkward middle stage. Sort of weird and edgy looking. But I think the main reason I would end up tweaking it is so that it's better serves as a transition to the final stage, which I'm probably going to redesign a lot. Corrupshade. I don't like how this guy looks. I feel like I made him too human-shaped. This is just a man face. But this is where the starter gets its secondary type. So when it reaches its final stage, instead of just being nature type, it is now nature dark. Even though it's named after after Nightshade, which is a poisonous flower. But it's got night in the name, and it's based on a vampire. So that's where... For some reason I thought it would be funny if like it's based on a vampire but has a cross in its ear. So, you know, maybe it can learn some toxin moves. Yeah, it probably will. It probably will. But yeah, I feel like I made it too humanoid, and I want to tweak that a bit. Especially in the head, I don't like the way the face looks. But like the whole evolutionary line, its fur is sort of supposed to look like a suit, and its wings are like a cape. Just going for that vampire vibe. And that's also why it has this hairstyle. It's like based on like Dracula. But yeah. Meowdismon. I feel like I've seen Meowdismon, but I don't remember what it looks like. Yeah, Digimon gets away with it because they have a lot of like very very human-like Digimon. Mine, like, all the creatures are specifically supposed to be the animals and occasionally plants of this world, so I don't want them being too human-looking. I don't know. I'll figure it out when I eventually get around to redesigning things. For now, that's the Brambat line, which means we can go on to our next set of starters, which are the fire starters. Digimon evolutions and creatures make no sense, yeah. It's a sheep. It's the sheepy. This is Flam. Flame lamb. Easy. It's a sheepy. It's cute. It can like stand up like this, but I always draw it sitting down. Cause I don't know, I guess I just like this pose. I think I wrote like a Dex entry at some point for it saying that like its fur is very warm, so it's like bred for like by like sheep farmers and whatnot. So it's very rare to see a Flam with a full coat of wool, because they're always getting shorn, sheared, whatever the word is for that, in order to make clothes. So instead it just has the wool around the bottom half, which now that I'm looking at it, kind of, especially when it's sitting down, it kind of looks like a diaper. But I mean, that tracks with it being the first form, the infant form, juvenile form, whatever. Was it juvenile? I came up with names for the forms, like the final stage was adult, and I don't remember whether it was the first or second stage that was juvenile. I think one of them was also adolescent. I think it was juvenile, adolescent, adult. I don't remember. Because I can't just use Pokemon terminology. What is this comment I left here? How do proportions? Yeah, Flam is a very simple design. Very simple. Then it goes into Pyram. Oh, I forgot to mention, the Flam line is specifically based on the Merino sheep, I believe, which is a common breed of sheep used in Australia and I think New Zealand as well. I don't know. Did I say brand? I meant breed. The goat has a goatee. Yeah, it started to grow its horns in. It's now got a full coat of wool. I think... I don't like how I did the neck. I think I'm gonna change that. But otherwise, I think I'm pretty happy with Pyram. It's basically just a larger Flam. It's got horns. It's got a full coat of wool, and you can more clearly see like a fire pattern in its wool. But it works as the middle stage. What I don't like is the final stage. Flarino. I think I went like too hard on like, I don't know, demonic theming. I don't know why I did that. Oh, hello. Oh crap, I've got this in front of the alerts. One moment. One moment. That should work. Hello, Giorgio Emporio, thank you for following. Dave Warner or Steve Smith, I have no idea who either of those people are. But thank you for the follow. But yeah, I don't really like what I did with this one.
You can stay out for up to 72 hours without looking for a socket with extreme battery.
Michael Clark or Ricky Ponting, I have no idea who either of those are. My dude, what are you talking about? Yeah, I think... Do you not watch Aussie sports? Bro, I'm a VTuber. I'm a VTuber, I'm talking about bootleg Pokemon. Why would you think I'm interested in sports? But yeah. I didn't mention, Florino is, like, as with Corruptshade, Florino gets a second type. It is now Fire Steel, because I really liked the idea of a sheep Pokemon with like steel wool, because that's a thing. It's like a pun. So I just incorporated that into the starter. I think if I was going to redesign it, I would probably not make it like this thin tube, and instead be more like Wooloo and Dubwool, you know? Have the big old ball of wool. Probably still have the horns. I think, aside from maybe the eyes, the head I think I'm happy with. And I do like how I did it where like these spots on the back kind of flare up when it attacks. But like the legs feel weirdly long. I don't like whatever's going on here. And I feel like the body needs to be rounder. Oh yeah. Thank you, Past Me, for putting these notes in. The tips of the horns are supposed to be glowing red hot. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, that is the fire starter. Thank you for the redeem fee. Where is my water? Why are you redeeming save? There's nothing to save. Refund yourself, please. There's the hydrate. There's the stretch. There is nothing to save. Like, I can hit Control S right now and it would save it, but there's nothing to save. I haven't edited the picture at all. Anyway, final starter. I couldn't do an Australia region without a platypus. So here's Puddlepuss. It's a platypus. It sure is a platypus. I think my original design for Puddlepuss, it looked more or less the same, but it was on all fours and it just had the tail behind it. And then I think my brother pointed out, like, it just looks like a platypus. It doesn't even look like anything, it's just a platypus. So then I came up with the idea that, like this is the baby form. It's got marks on it, so it sort of looks like it's crying even. So I'm like, what if it's like holding its tail up to its chest in order to like shield itself? You know? I mean, Flamingo is just a flamingo. What's his point? that. Well, to be fair, this discussion happened like before Gen 7 even. Probably. Actually, no, I think Gen 7 probably came out by this point. But it was before Gen 8, so well before Gen 9. But yeah, Puddlepuss. I think I'm mostly okay with how it looks. I don't see myself making too many big changes to it. Then we move on to Platidal, which is really just a larger, more confident Puddlepuss, but now it has like little barbs on its hands. That also the heckin' Ahoge is now another frickin' goatee. Yeah, it's got more complex designs on its body. It's on the hunt. I think I want to change this a little, only so that it's a better transition into the final stage. Because Platidal... because Platidal evolves into Platyphoon, which is basically a frickin' platypus samurai, and I don't know why I decided to make a samurai in a region based on Australia, but it exists. So this is the title. I turned like the barbs on its hands into like blades that it slices with. I think I want to change the positioning a little so that it's slicing to the side instead of with the back of its hand. But it's a thing. This little swirly pattern on the back, I'm pretty sure I mainly added just because its name has Typhoon in it. But yeah. Like the other ones, it gets a secondary type. Typhoon becomes water toxic type, and that's because platypuses, if you didn't know, are one of the few venomous mammals out there. They have venomous barbs on their legs, and that's what was the inspiration for these blades. So this is a thing. I tried to think of like some sort of theming to group them together, because like people had pointed out like Gen 6's starters were like all like RPG classes, and then Gen 7's were like almost like circus performers, I think the theme people saw was. And then I guess Gen 8 was just popular British media or whatever. I tried to think of a theme to connect these three. I couldn't think of anything. I've got a vampire, a samurai, and a whatever the hell Florina was. But yeah, that is Puddlepuss. And the Puddlepuss line, even. I don't know which one I would pick. I think, like, ads. We may just put... Last time I did this, I didn't get any ads. I don't know. I don't know why I'm getting them now. Maybe I went with a different compilation or something. Yeah, I don't know which one I would choose if I was playing. Because, like, I know all about them now, so I feel like I would be biased at some point. But I think technically the canon choice, like the choice that because like instead of a game, it's now becoming a novel. The main character chooses Platyphoon, or Puddlepuss rather, and then one of his rivals, well, the two characters that would have been rivals if it was a game, the friendly one chooses Flam, and then the more competitive one chooses Brambat. However, the main reason is not because I particularly liked Puddlepuss or anything, it's because the more competitive one is like the princess of the Gen 2 region of the UK. And I wanted her to have Brambat because that line they're all wearing like suits and stuff and have a more regal appearance, I guess. So I wanted her to get that one, which meant the main character by default got Puddlepuss. But yes. Oh, and then there's a fourth character who just uses... They got rid of their starter, and they use the Pika clone, which we'll get to later. But before we can get to the Pika clone, we have to get to the regional bird, which is based on a magpie. I don't like this design. This is Magpie. They were originally... Like, Magpie starts as normal flying, and then I think the other two turned to fighting flying. So they're all named after, like, fighting techniques. So with Magpie, I thought maybe I'd give it like gigantic wings that it can use to block attacks, since it's not like big enough or old enough to really hold its own in a fight just yet. I don't like how it turned out though. That front-facing face, it looks like it's got a frickin' bald spot. I think I like the idea of a bird with giant wings in order to block attacks. I just don't like the execution I did. So I'm probably going to have to rework it a little. But then Magpie evolves into Magpummel, which I like the design of better. It's a bird. However, it has no claws on its feet, and the reason for that is, with its name Magpummel, I figured, hey, oh, this is when I started putting the type up in the top corner, nice. I figured, hey, maybe it can like punch with its feet, so its feet work sort of like fists. Instead of pecking people, it just punches them. Oh, and the reason they were originally fighting type is because magpies are very territorial during breeding season. Many in Australia knows you gotta wear freaking, like, wear a helmet, or at the very least a plastic ice cream container on your head so they don't peck you when you walk past. Or go past on your bike. So that's why they were fighting type. Although now fighting type doesn't exist, so they're just normal. Normal wind. And then Magpummel becomes Magpunish. I wanted to make its face look like a skull. Why is everything hard to kill you or fight you? It's Australia. Not everything, but yeah, magpies definitely are. Magpunish is more of a, like, just generic bird Pokemon type thing. But I mean, I think it works for what it needed to be. It's got the skull to show that, like, it's absolutely not something to mess with. But besides that, it's mainly just big bird. But I think it works fine. I don't see myself redesigning it or anything. Now let me close that line. Magpunish be given that more aggressive Australian swallow cousin vibes. Moving on to cockroaches. Back when I lived on the coast, we had cockroach problems. So I had to include a cockroach here. This is Robish. It's a cockroach. It's basically a cartoon cockroach that's got rubbish all over it. Banana peel for scale, I guess. So realistically, Robish would have like different rubbish depending on like what it is in and around. But like, if we're talking Pokemon, like, game design, it would probably have the same rubbish every time. Fun story. Heckin', another reason I wanted to include Robish is because... Hello, ad. Hello, ad. Is it over? I'm not even gonna... They're super short now. I'm not gonna mute it. I'm just gonna talk over the top of them. Another reason why I wanted a cockroach is because one of our big sporting events, at least around the area of Australia where I live, is the State of Origin, which is a big rugby league match between New South Wales and Queensland, I believe. I only know this because my dad likes rugby, so... officially the teams are called the Blues and the Maroons, I believe, but I think from what I've heard they have like unofficial names being the cockroaches and the cane toads. So I figured, hey, I want a cockroach and a cane toad creature here. So I made a cockroach. And then I realized I added a cane toad creature, but I didn't have a cane beetle. And cane toads were only introduced to Australia to deal with the cane beetles. And so I thought, what if I played up the rivalry between cockroaches and cane toads here by making it so Robish was originally a cane beetle that got forced out of its habitat by the introduction of the cane toads, and then it moved into cities and became toxic type and ended up looking more like a cockroach. Does that make any sense? Probably not, but oh well. It's my world, I can make up any lore I want. But then Robish rather, evolves into Litteroach. And now it stands on 2 legs, it's actually got it's got 6 legs like it's supposed to. And now it's using the cans as like a frickin' boxing gloves that it punches you with. I have no idea. Was I really trying to... I'm just looking at this little thing, this little design of how it would have attacked. Apparently the way it used indirect attacks, like let's say a hyper beam. Let's say this thing's using hyper beam. Apparently it would frickin' pull the can off its arm and shoot the hyper beam out of the can. Which I don't know if I agree with, but apparently that's what I'd planned out. But anyway, Litteroach is basically just a bigger Robish. And I mean, that's all it really needs to be. How long have we been going for? Jesus. I have been talking about my creatures for almost an hour now. And we've still got so many to go through. I don't know if we'll go through all of them. Anyway, here's Flinton. It's a cat. So, Australia has a problem with feral cats. So I wanted to add a cat. And I figured the idea would be, we have a cat here in the Australia region, and it evolves to become feral. But in other regions where the cat is actually supposed to be and it wasn't just introduced, it evolves into a more sleek, normal-looking cat. So that's going to be one of the creatures I have to design for Gen 2. So anyway, this is Flinton. It's fire type. It's got flint in its tail and its ears, and it's got steel whiskers, because you use flint and steel to start a fire. Anyway, cute cat. Cute kitty. Doesn't get so cute when it evolves into Feralette. Starting to turn feral. Bit standoffish. The flint is gone, now it's just straight up on fire. Its fur's starting to get a bit more shaggy and fraying off a bit. For some reason, I decided its front paw should have three fingers and its back paw should have 4. But then, like, when it evolves, it goes back to just 3 fingers on each paw. So it gains a finger and then it loses one. I don't know why I did that. Oh, also toe beans, I guess. People like those, right? But when it finally evolves, it becomes Cat Trash, which sounds like a very simple name, but you see, it's not just cat and trash. It's also cat and rash, and cat and ash, because it's fire toxic type. It's because it feasts on trash, it'll give you a rash, and it burns things to ash. It was originally just cat and trash, and then I came up with the other 2 afterwards. But yes, now it's gone completely feral. It's got a cut in its ear. Its fur is very shaggy. It's an angry boy. Its tongue's got barbs. It's toxic. It doesn't have like toxic fangs or whatever, but basically the idea is that like it's because it spends all its time in and around like garbage and whatnot, its fur is like coated in toxins, which is why it'll give you a rash if you try to pet it. But the whiskers are all jagged. I like this line. I don't think I would do anything to change this line. I'm happy with it. But yeah, I'd have to design 2 more evolutions for Flinton, where instead of going to fire toxic, it eventually goes to fire metal. But yes. Next, we have the regional bug, because I was doing those as well. It's cost switch.
With the new Google Pixel 7
Oh no, it's an ad.
macro focus makes
Oh no, cost switch. What do you think about this ad? Is the ad over yet? No, it is not. Bye bye ad. Okay. Cost switch is based on a witchetty grub. Problem. Bug type no longer existed once I rearranged all my types. So like Robish, I could easily just make it pure toxic type. But what do I make this? This doesn't feel like a normal type to me. So I made it nature type, even though it has nothing to do with plants. I'll figure it out. But anyway, it's basically just a witchetty grub, but I gave it eyes and like a stripe across its back. It's fairly simple, but like, it works. Also, the front and back have like the same design, just without the eyes, so that like it can confuse predators and they might like pick it up by the wrong end. Something like that. Anyway, obviously it has a cocoon form. Cocoon. Oh, its name, by the way. The cos comes from the fact that witchetty grubs are like the grub form of a cossid moth. So, yeah. So cocoon is it's a cocoon. It's a cocoon. Its mouth parts are starting to stick out of its former mouth. It's got its body is like encased in a cocoon, so it can't really move, and instead it just uses these little proto wings, I guess, to move around. Because it's still hungry, it's still trying to eat things. But yeah, it's... I think when I posted this one to Imgur, because I posted them all to Imgur just so I could save them from my phone onto my laptop. I think someone looked at this like, that's a penis. Which, I mean, it does kind of look a little weird, but yeah. It's a thing. It evolves into Cosidox, which is a moth. And it looks like a moth because it's a moth. That's it. It's a moth. There's nothing particularly interesting to say about Cosidox, it's just a moth. I think the real cossid moth, it doesn't keep like the witchetty grub look to its body, but since I wanted to tie the line more together, I just left it looking like that. Also, apparently, like, cossid moths, their mouth parts don't work, so they get all their nutrition as a grub, and then once they grow into an adult, they can't eat anymore. And that's like, okay, I don't know how I feel about that. So I think I was going to incorporate that in the lore, not like 100% like that, but I think it was like, Coswitch is super hungry, and then Cosidox, its mouth doesn't work as, like, it can't eat as quickly or as much, or whatever. So it instead of eating a lot like Coswitch does, it just tries to conserve its energy or something. I don't think there's much I'd change about this line. Like, it works as a basic early game bug. Next up, more nature. More nature type, but one that actually fits as a nature type. This is Gumly. Its name is absolute garbage because it's a gum nut, and its name is literally just one letter off of Gumleaf. But I mean, Pokemon has a Pokemon named Seal, so I feel justified. Oh no, it's another ad! Oh no, Gumly, what do you think of this ad? Oh, the ad's gone. Yeah, it's basically just a gum nut with a face, and it's got little legs that are supposed to be based on, like, the branches of a gum tree. Gum tree being the common name for, like, a eucalyptus tree. Yeah, it's just a little dude. And then it evolves. It has a split evolution. It can either turn into a big old tree that's on fire. Reason it's on fire and it becomes nature fire type is because eucalyptus oil is very flammable, which means in a bushfire, eucalyptus trees will sometimes explode because the sap and the oil inside of them ignites. So I figured I can use that. It's a eucalyptus tree that's on fire. There we go. I think I would change it a little bit, solely because I've gone and designed like an Australian regional variant of Trevenant that's also based on a eucalyptus tree. Where do you guys even have exploding trees down there? Yeah. Yeah, Australia's a dangerous place. Only during a bushfire, though. In which case, you don't want to be there anyway. Yeah, I designed like a regional Trevenant based on like the same idea. And I think I'd want to take aspects of that into this. Especially the arms. I don't like how spindly the arms are. And it's like, it's very straight. So I'd probably take the same general concept and just rework it a bit to make it less of a tree with a face and more of a tree-based creature. However, Gumly, if you don't want a burning tree, it can also turn it into a eucalyptus flower with Mesmyrtle. Which, this was a design I really liked. I turned like a eucalyptus flower into like a skirt. And this is supposed to be like the motherly creature nurturing all the little Gumly as they're running around scared. It's got leaves for hair. There's not much to say about this one. It's a eucalyptus flower. But I like how it came out. So I think from this line, Eucorup's the only one that I'd really want to redesign a bit. I think I've drawn this one in color as well. Back when I was working on a different trading card game. But I have so many tabs open in Clip Studio. What is going on outside? There is so much noise coming from there. I don't know if it's picking up on the mic, but I hope it's not. I think there are people doing some gardening or something. Anyway, more nature types. This one's a macadamia nut. It's called Macadamite. It's a little macadamia nut fairy that hides inside a macadamia nut shell. And it's got little leaf wings at the back. So I figured the idea with this one is that its body is like very, very brittle and frail, so it hides inside its shell. It's fairly simple. It's just got a macadamia nut for a head, it's got leaves for the arms, and like it just sort of closes its shell and rams into things. Ah, but this is our first mythic type. To give a quick explanation, mythic is basically... I needed something to dump all of my dragon types and fairy types into, and I decided mythic would be the type. The in-universe explanation is that basically every type is based on some sort of elemental energy, and mythic, with it being named after myths and stuff, mythic is some type of elemental energy that humans are not fully able to comprehend. So they can't figure out what element it's supposed to be, so they just named it after myths. I don't know, that's how I justified the name. Anyway, macadamia nut fairy. Next we move away from nature types to something much less pleasant. This is Buzzlaw. It's a blowfly. I don't like flies, but we had to deal with so many of them back when I was living in the country that I felt like I had to include one. It's basically just a cartoon fly. Not too much else to its design. But it's got a slurpy nose. Proboscis, whatever. And then it evolves... Oh, its name, by the way, is absolute garbage. It's Buzz, because it buzzes, and Blow, because it's a blowfly. Also, though I did kind of try to justify it as like, it's also slow, because it doesn't mean to be annoying, it just doesn't understand. It's a bit slow. I don't know, it's weird. But it evolves into Flyrate, which is just... It's, for the most part, still just a cartoon fly. I feel like its body feels a little long. Maybe I'd shorten it a little. But it's also kind of got mosquito parts, because now its proboscis is more like a needle type thing. And I gave it like crosses in the eyes. Now, Flyrate, unlike Buzzlow, Flyrate does it on purpose. It deliberately irritates people with the sound of its buzzing to get them to fight, and then it can swoop in and like take whatever it wants from them. It even has like a signature move, Irritabuzz. Although I don't remember whether I left it as a signature move or whether I gave it to other creatures as well. Anyway, the fish... Titanidae. This is the only normal fish creature I created for Gen 1, because I was dumb and filled up on water types before realizing I didn't have any other fish. So now we have so now this just has to be all over the region. Even though it's not even just plain water type, it's water metal. It's named after titanium because, like, I think there's a thing that's like, you know how metal can sometimes have that rainbowy look to it? That's what this is based on. Also, it's based on a rainbow fish. Not the one... The reason I looked up rainbow fish was because I remember that rainbow fish book from my childhood. And I found out there is a species of fish that I think is found in Australia that is commonly referred to as the rainbow fish. And it looks like this. It looks nothing like the real... the book. But I found out, like, I think earlier this year, the book's not even Australian. So I don't know what the hell I was thinking. But anyway, it's got, like, rainbow designs. It's got a rainbow pattern. This, like, it isn't a flat design that just sticks there. This is supposed to be, like, it can move around. It just shines in, like, the light or whatever. And it makes a rainbow design. And then its fins are, like blades, because it's made of metal. And because I don't have any other fish, this just has to be everywhere. So, you know. Fish. Moving on. Minolan. This is based on a minor bird. They're not native to Australia. I don't think they were introduced. But they're kind of a pest. And my dad, like, he doesn't like them. I think he's tried to shoot at them a couple times. So I figured, what if I made it a ghost? It got shot one too many times and now it's a ghost creature. I don't know. I also don't know. I put this design on its chest. I don't know what that means. Past me, why did you do that? But yeah, it's a ghost bird. I feel like there's, I don't know, something missing about its design, but I also don't know what I would change if I were to redesign it. It's just a ghost bird. It also doesn't evolve. This what you see is what you get. But yeah, remember how I mentioned cane toads before? This is a toxipole. It's a cane toad tadpole, and it's got little legs. It pushes itself around like that. It's just starting to grow into a frog, or a toad rather. But yeah, it's basically just a tadpole with warts. There's nothing too special going on here. But I mean, it's fine. It serves its purpose. It just starts out toxic type, but when it evolves, it gains nature type because cane toad, cane sugar. It's like cane, the cane plants. You know, plants. It's nature type. It evolves into Tropitoad, which is basically just a frog with some leaves wrapped around it. I don't know how I feel about this, dude. I feel like I could do a bit more with this. Maybe make him a little more cartoony and a little less just a frog. But he exists. He exists. He's got cane leaves. Cane sugar leaves wrapped around his legs. And then it evolves because for some reason it has a 3-stage, even though the Pokemon it has a rivalry with. Even though the creature it has a rivalry with only has 2 stages. It becomes Infactoad, where it stands on like its hind legs and it's like slaps you down with its. I think one of my friends described it as like being like a sort of ogre type thing, which I could see. I feel like I want to do something with these legs. These do not look comfortable to stand on. But I think besides that, it works. It's basically just a big old frog that'll slap you. Oh, these big bulbs on the back of Infactoad and Tropitoad were supposed to be poison glands. So, that's a thing. That is indeed a thing. I don't know how in-depth I should be going, because I've got so many creatures I want to talk about all of them, but at the same time I don't want to be here forever. We might have to do another stream where I just look at the rest of them. This stream was basically just supposed to be me like looking at my old creatures, explaining their designs and inspirations and whatnot, and most importantly figuring out which ones I want to redesign. Anyway, termite. It's a fire termite. This is Pyamite. It's a termite, and it's got like a blowtorch on its back. Fairly simple design. It's basically just a cartoon bug, but it shoots fire. But I'm happy with this design. And it evolves into Pyrant, which is not a termite, it's a fire ant. But it swaps out the blowtorch for a stinger. and so instead it breathes fire out of its mouth. I don't... I feel like I might have overcomplicated the design a little. But I don't know, I think it works. If it does get redesigned, it's not on the high priority list for what I want to redesign, at the very least. But they're just plain fire type, that they do the fire things. Just a couple of fire bugs. Oh, the idea behind having a fire type termite was, I figured they could like burn the wood and then consume the ash, which I thought was like a neat way to do a termite. Anyway, the silliest name I've come up with, Pillidilly. It's based on a pill bug. And it's nature type because I don't know why. So I had to add leaves on it to make it clear that like this isn't just metal, this is nature. But it's basically just a cartoon pill bug with some leaves on it. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like that's too simple of a design, but at the same time, I don't think there's anything I would want to change about it. It's even got a cute little face that you normally would not see because it's facing the ground. Yeah, it just rolls up into a ball and then rolls at you. This is the kind of design that I was worried about, I was like, oh, this doesn't really look like a Pokemon, you know? Because it's basically just the animal, but like a cartoonish version. It doesn't have anything about it that makes it stand out as like a character, you know? But like, I don't know, I like it like this. I like this dude. So I don't know. Anyway. Chicken. This is Fowletric, based on the Australian game fowl. The reason I have an electric chicken is because battery hens are a thing, which are not, you know, that's not good. You just have chickens in these tiny little cages. But it makes for a great pun. So I made an electric chicken. So I don't really have too much to go into with the design here. It's basically just a chicken, but it's electric. And also its like crest thing has an electric design on it. And it evolves in Shockerel, which is basically just more of the same. It's an electric rooster. I don't know how I feel about these ones. I feel like I could have done better with them, but at the same time, this is one that I don't really know what I would change if I were to change them. Anyway, moving on to a more well-known Australian animal. Koalas. This is Koalam. Getting some fighting vibes from these birds. Yeah, fighting type doesn't exist in Creature Tamer, so they're just electric type. This is Koalam, it's a koala. Similar to Kamala, it's basically just a koala. Except it's got big ass forearms to smack you with. So its name, I think it originally came from koala and harm, because, well, you'll see in its evolution. But now it's like it's also koala and arm because it's got big forearms, and it's also koala and alarm because if it's in distress, it'll just scream. Which you can see up here. But for the most part, it's just a cartoon koala. But I think it's okay. I think it works. And then it evolves into Murdrop. Murdrop is based on the fictional carnivorous koala known as the drop bear. For those unaware, drop bears are not real. They're just a story made up to scare tourists. But supposedly there are koalas who are carnivorous and they drop out of trees to attack anyone who walks underneath. So that's what this is based on. I basically just made it basically just takes koala, makes it taller and larger and deadlier. But I think that works. Or did I make it like... Yeah, it jumps to give the impression that it's dropping down on you. Nice. So I think I'm happy with that line. Moving on from koala, we have another iconic Australian animal, kookaburra with Oracook. It's light type here, even though it doesn't really give off the impression of being light type. And the reason for that is a lot of creatures that were originally like bootleg Pokemon that I'd created myself. I think the compilation has ended. I'm just going to put my regular background music on because I don't want to deal with the ads again. Alright, now I have to turn my volume up so I can actually hear it. So yeah, a lot of the fake Pokemon that I'd made that I then turned into creatures, they were originally like a lot of the creatures that were originally psychic type or fairy type got put into light type because I didn't really want to have a psychic type and light felt like a good counterpoint to dark. And my justification for that was that light doesn't just mean like physical, like visible bright light. It can also mean enlightenment. And that's why psychic types become light type. It's stupid, but that was my justification. Anyway, this is basically just a kookaburra. I feel like I wanna... This is one where I feel like it goes too much into just being the animal. I feel like I can do more than just plopping some designs on it. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I think this is one of the ones I'm going to redesign a bit. It also evolves into Kookamancer, which is also basically just a kookaburra, but it has weird patterns on its body. So I'll have to figure out what exactly I want to do with this one. But it does need a bit of a redesign, I think. Anyway, remember how I got Hornest's type wrong? This is why. Electric Wind, it's a bee. Specifically based on the blue banded bee, it's a bee with blue stripes instead of yellow. This is Bee-like, it's a ball. It's a bee ball. Wings small compared to body. I like how I specifically noted that. Its wings are too small to lift its fat little body off the ground. The Bee-like, of course, flies anyway. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about its face. I feel like I might do something with that. Make it a little cuter. But then it evolves into Amigalva, which I feel like this drifts a little too close to what I would do with Hornest and Vespark. Like, I guess Hornets aren't fuzzy, are they? So I can keep... I think what I want to do, right? Because I designed these guys before Hornest was ever a thing. And so, like, for its final evolution, which I'll quickly show off now, Circulata, I kind of wanted to go for a more, like, wasp kind of look, even though it's based on a bee. I wanted to go for a more wasp kind of look just to make it look more aggressive. But now I kind of don't need to do that because I've already got a creature that's an electric hornet. So I think what I kind of want to do is I feel like Amagalva's design is probably going to become the new Circulata. And then I'll design a new creature that can come up with a new design for Amagalva that can serve as like the transition between Belek and the new Circulata. The names are stupid, by the way. I had a thing at the time where I was constantly naming the creatures after the animal's scientific name, which is why we have these weird Amma and Ada and all of that in there. But oh well, the name has stuck now. But yes, Electric Bee. Moving on, we have Fungillary. Fungillary is based on a type of fungus called, I believe it's known as the hat thrower fungus, or otherwise known as the dung cannon. It grows in dung, and then it fires off the cap of the mushroom, spreading its spores all over the grass, shooting it off like a cannon. So Fungillary basically does that. It shoots its cap off as a projectile. And I just gave it a face. And also cheeks that it can like blow up and then use the force from that to fire it off. Very simple design, but I mean, it does what it needs to, I think. I like this dude. Anyway, well, I'm moving a little faster because I'm probably going to end the stream around the time I normally do, which is in a little over half an hour. And I want to at least get to, like you can see here, we're at creature number 144. I want to get to at least 100. And then I can maybe do another stream where I talk about the rest. Maybe if I feel like doing another just chatting stream somewhere along the line. Anyway, this is Snailamino. It's a snail, and it has a lighthouse on its back as a shell. I don't know. I don't think I really like this one. I feel like this one needs to get a bit of a redesign because it's basically just a snail. And I feel like I could probably execute the whole lighthouse shell a little better. Like, you can see what I was going for, but I basically didn't take it any further than just the parts that made it up. It's just a snail. Not sure what I'm gonna do with it though. I'll figure something out. Eventually. Anyway, on to something I'm more happy with. This is Rabbitin. It's a rabbit. It's a cute little dude. It's a rabbit with metal plating. Rabbits aren't native to Australia. Maybe something like let his head come out of the top of the lighthouse? Oh, that could work. Pulling out random stuff? No, it helps. It helps. I'll probably do, like, once I eventually get back to doing drawing streams again, I'll probably do a stream where I, like, work on redesigning some of these guys. Or even just doing proper, like, digital art beyond the original sketches. and stuff like that. You know, we can workshop it. But anyway, rabbits aren't native to Australia. They were introduced. But, since they were introduced and they now live here, I figure I can make a rabbit. And it's rabbitin. It's a metal type because it was based on, like, I think it was called, like, the European grey rabbit or something. And since it's grey, I'm like, okay, that's metal. But it evolves into hair iron, which for some reason, like, looking at this face, for some reason my brain just goes, this looks like something from Dragon Quest. And I don't know why. I think it's because Dragon Quest is an enemy that is, you know, a rabbit with a horn. The bunny corn, I think it's called. But for some reason the face just gives me Dragon Quest vibes, and I don't know why. See the Dragon Quest inspiration? Yeah. So I like these designs for them that I've come up with, but I feel like the metal plating, especially with the rivets, it might look a little too artificial, and I'm not sure about that. But at the same time, I like the design, so I'm probably just going to keep it. Anyway, from one metal type to another, we move on to Zinkid. It's a goat. And it's got metal. Goat. Yeah, I don't remember specifically what type of goat it's based on. It was probably introduced to Australia because a lot of the creatures I designed are just based on animals that were introduced when Australia was settled by the British and other people. Whoa! Star, thank you for the raid! Welcome, welcome, raiders! Hold on. Thank you for the redeem, Tristan. What was my shout-out command again? Hello, Canna. Hey, I can't stay, but enjoy your stream. No worries. Why do I have two sets of alerts going on right now? I need to fix that. Yeah, I know the / shout-out one. I was gonna do the other one as well. Call to the Lamb, interesting. Yeah, don't worry if you can't stay. I know I have to raid and run sometimes as well. But thank you so much for the raid. Star levels up. Go follow Star if you're not. From my chat. And thank you for the follow. Who was it? Lethiael. Thank you for the follow. Welcome raiders. My name is Melody Sea Turtle. I am a VTuber from Australia. I usually play popular Nintendo games and obscure crap no one's ever heard of. But today we're doing a Just Chatting stream, and I'm going through a bunch of essentially bootleg Pokemon that I designed back in 2017. And I'm just talking about their designs and like which ones I would want to redesign. Now, let me just check. Why? Oh, my old alert box was enabled. Oops. Why do I even still have that in OBS? It's probably just for this scene as well, because I barely use this scene. Anyway, where was I? Zinkid. I think I already... Oh, wait, no. I wanted to mention. It's got, like, the little... What's it called? I think it's called a waddle that goats have. Little thingy hanging from its neck. But instead it's made of metal, so it clinks together like a little... Almost like a wind chime when it walks around. I thought that would be cute. Zinkid evolves into Gobolt. I think I originally called it Gotanium, but I didn't like that name, so I changed it to a different metal. So I went in on like because when I did this, I was like, oh, the way I've done this kind of looks like star patterns or whatnot. So I went all in on that. And it kind of works because like the whole goat pentagram thing. That's a thing, right? Yeah, and that's part of why it becomes light type when it evolves. It gains like psychic powers or whatever. Oh, I straight up made the waddle into like actual bells. I don't know if I like that touch. I might revert that. But besides that, I think the design ended up turning out okay. Now back into more cute designs. As soon as I can close this. It's a fox. It's a little red fox. Another one that's not native to Australia, but it exists here, so it works. Think the bells were a nice touch? Yeah. A lot of these, like I said, these were made in 2017, so I've probably got a lot to think about for like what I want to keep and what I want to revert, what I want to change. But yes, fox. I feel like this is very cute, but at the same time, it's literally just a fox. With some like vague fire theming. I feel like I should do more with this. But then when it evolves, becomes Valaise, I feel like I did too much here. Thank you for the follow, Scorpy-chan. Thank you, thank you. I feel like I might have done too much here, because now we've just got like wispy strands of fur flying all over the place. So I don't know. I feel like there's some balance I can strike to make it like not just a fox, but at the same time not look like there's too much going on. And that's not even the final stage. It eventually becomes Valerno, where it has a giant-ass tail. Valerno's the only one that I'm absolutely not changing. This one stays as it is. I like this one. But yeah, I wanted... I think I wanted Valerno to be like all regal looking and whatnot. But then it ended up just basically being a fox with a giant tail. And I don't really know why. But it sure is a thing. Anyway, enough introduced animals. Let's talk about a real Australian animal. Kangaroos, let's go. This is Judoe. Obviously named after Judo and Joey, because Joey is a young kangaroo. But kangaroos are known for fighting, so it's fighting, except fighting type doesn't exist anymore, so it's normal. But it's basically just a cartoon kangaroo with like patterns on its body. So I don't know. Maybe I can come up with something that looks a bit more unique, but it's a thing. It's a thing. Judoe has a split evolution. It can either become Kangarita, which becomes more buff, and then the pattern around its body is supposed to look more like a black belt. Kangarita, by the way, is named after Corrida, which I believe is a type of Aboriginal martial art. Australian Aboriginal. From what I remember, at least. Like I said, I made these in 2017. I don't remember that back that far. I feel like this dude's also kind of just a kangaroo, but I feel like it works better for him for some reason. I don't know. But either way, Judoi can also turn into Kangrappler, which is, instead of being based on the kind of kangaroo that most people know, the like the red kangaroo, I think it's just called the red kangaroo, and all of those, Kangrappler is based on a tree kangaroo. They don't have the same powerful, like, jumping around all over the place, but they can climb trees and stuff. So Kangrappler is more like, instead of like punching you and kicking you and stuff, it's more like grabbing. And like the bark around its head here was supposed to sort of look like a wrestling headgear. That sort of thing. And also because it's a tree kangaroo, it gained the nature type. So the bark was sort of supposed to be my way of justifying the fact that it's now essentially grass type. Did it work? I don't know. But I feel like, I don't know, Judoi I think's the only one I'm kind of iffy on. Because these two are both also like just kangaroos, but I feel like they work better. I don't know why Judoi isn't working as well for me. But that's something for future me to figure out. Let me close those out. And we go on to another Australian animal. Wombumble. This dude is absolutely getting redesigned. So, fun fact, when I was first coming up with, like, my Australia fan region before it became Creature Tamer, I didn't realize that the regional rodent, essentially, the Rattata of each region, was a rodent. Because I didn't know rabbits were previously considered rodents. I didn't know squirrels were rodents. Squirrels weren't a thing yet. Basically, I didn't know they were supposed to be rodents. I thought it was just a common regional mammal. So I was gonna make it a wombat. But, yeah, that doesn't really work. Either way, wombat still exists. Wombumble. He's just sort of lazy, plodding around, clumsy. But the design is basically just a wombat, and I feel like there is absolutely more I can do with this. Oh yeah, it's but then it evolves, it is just normal type, and then evolves into normal earth when it becomes Womburrow. And it gets like sharper claws and stuff. So I think maybe Womburrow can stay the way it is. And then Wombumble, I maybe design it to make it look more like a younger wombat instead of just the same, but without all the details. So I can do something with that. Yeah, I wanted it to become normal earth, sort of similar to Bunnelby and Diggersby. So it digs. It do a dig. Next up is bird. It's Scrubburn, based on a bird called a scrub tit that exists. I don't know why I made a creature based on it, but it exists. It's basically just a little firebird. Which, like, I really didn't draw a reference for what its wings look like when they're not folded up. What are you doing past me? Where's the reference? I think the design works well enough. It's basically just a firebird. I don't have much to say about this one. I think I might have I probably just got to a point where I'm like, I don't have enough fire creatures. I need to come up with more animals to base creatures on. Here's a bird. So let's move on to something I like better. This is Gexic. It's a gecko. Specifically based on, I believe it's called the robust gecko, which are not venomous, but it's purple. So I'm like, purple? Let's make it poisonous. But like design-wise, it's basically just a gecko, but also it's cute, so I don't care. It's a cute little dude. Look at him. Then he's got the patterns on his back. He's just vibing. Look at his chubby little body. And then it evolves into this dude, Venomecho. Naming is hard. Nothing good can come from the color purple. Okay, Theo. Okay. Yeah, Venomecho is basically just grown-up Gexic with more patterns. It doesn't really look toxic, but I mean, oh well. I like the design of these two, even if I feel like they perhaps don't look particularly fitting of their type. Alright! I did this on the head. The way the patterns on the head were shaped, that was sort of supposed to look like the frickin' radiation symbol. Like, let me just... like that, except you cut the two bottom ones off shorter. And there you go. That's a thing. That was me trying to justify them being toxic. Also, they're mythic because, like, I made a lot of the reptilian creatures, like, originally dragon type, and then I decided, and then, like, dragon doesn't exist anymore, so they're now mythic. Yeah, these two, I feel like I didn't do a lot with their designs, but I like them, so they stay. Oh, now I gotta tell it, no, I don't want to save. Do not save. I like the gecko designs good, because I also like them. This is Star Sugar. It's based on a sugar glider. And also a plant called, I believe it's called Sturt's Desert Pea. I don't really like this one. I feel like I could have done the concept better. Like, basically, you got a sugar glider, it's the cape thing that you use to glide is supposed, and these here got like the bulbs and the petals of the plant that it's named after. But I don't know. I feel like I definitely could have done this better. But I don't know how. That's something I'd have to workshop a little. It's a thing. It's a thing that exists. Moving on. This is Possering, based on a ringtail possum, but it's also a thief. It steals things. So I suppose it's supposed to be like a mix of like a possum and like an Australian possum, by the way, not your American possums, opossums, that you just forget to say the O for. But yeah, I think for the most part it works. It's got like the stripes to be like jail uniforms or whatever. In before this possum steals a clef key. I think the body's mostly fine. I'm not sure about the face. The face feels a little weird to me for some reason. But then, it evolves into quite possibly One of the most notable Australian legends. You can't really see it. Its name is Ring Kelly, but it's supposed to be inspired by Ned Kelly, which is why it gains the metal armor. It gains the metal type, it has the face mask. I couldn't really fit a tin can over the head of a frickin' possum's muzzle, so instead it has this kind of mask instead. And now instead of having a heckin' bobby pin to pick open locks, it has a nail to just attack you with. So I think this one, the design doesn't really convey that it's supposed to be inspired by Ned Kelly, but I also just like the design. So I think Possum Ring I just need to work on the face a bit. Ring Kelly I think I'm happy with. Even though its name is absolute garbage, there is no pun there. It's just Ring because it's a ringtail possum, and Kelly because it's inspired by Ned Kelly. There is no pun. What was I doing? Anyway. Next we have Tick Rave, based on the Australian paralysis tick. It's basically just a tick. There is no fancy design here. I feel like I absolutely should have done more with it. At the very least, I should have made it look a little more cartoony so that it's not literally just an insect. But anyway, it evolves into Blowtick, which is like after it's drained. So Tick Rave is based on like what a tick normally looks like, and then Blowtick is after the tick has like drained all your blood and is now fully like puffed up and bloated, which is kind of gross now that I'm saying it out loud. I think Blowtick's design works relatively well, but Tick Rave I'd need to work on a bit. Also, you can't really see the toxic in it. I mainly leaned into the electric side of things. Maybe I should fix that a little, because they are supposed to be toxic and electric. Things to think about. Jeez. It's almost 12 and we're still only on 65. I'm probably not going to reach 100 today. Anyway, dolphin. Not quite. This is a porpoise. But yes, before Pokemon finally went and made a dolphin Pokemon, I was jumping on it sooner. This is Saipor. Another one that was previously Psychic type that got made Light type. It's basically just a porpoise, except his tail is like shaped like the moon. And like this pattern on the fin, I figured it was like sort of like a satellite dish or whatever. Was my intention, so like it could catch like the brain waves or whatever of other Saipor in the area. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that was my intention, but I don't remember. We're into 2018 now with these, but that was still like 4 years ago, almost 5. And it evolves into Siphon, which is based on a bottlenose dolphin. I don't know if Saipor was based on any specific type of porpoise, but Siphon is specifically the bottlenose dolphin, as you can tell by its nose. It's got a design around its blowhole that's meant to resemble like a third eye, and for some reason I gave it a heckin' spike in its tail. Looks more useful than Palafin. I don't know why I did this. Whatever the name was in Gen 9, yeah. I'm using Powerfin on my team. I was so excited that we finally got a dolphin. That I'm like, yep, I'm using this. I don't care how good or bad it is. And like, I added more colors to the radar fin. I basically just made the patterns more complicated. Have you evolved it already? Yes. I had to get one of my friends to help with that. Yeah, I don't know about this spike. I might remove that. Because it feels like it doesn't really fit with the rest of the design. But yes. That's Saipor and Saifin. They're more or less just dolphins and porpoises with weird patterns, but I mean, I think it works. It works well enough. Next up, we have Gloominy. It's based on an anemone, and it's emo. I don't really have much to say about this one. This one's a fairly simple design, but I like it. It's just a little anemone dude. And then it evolves into Melancholy. Emo water plant is cool. So like Gloominy was just like this specific type of anemone, but then with Melancholy, when I wanted to like give it a bigger, almost more humanoid body, I tried to incorporate like other types of anemone into the design, since it's not really based on any one specific sea anemone. But now, like, rather than just covering one eye for reasons, it now covers like, now drops the front layer completely down until something swims by, and then it flaps them up to catch it and entangle them. And then its arms are just like two longer fronds that hang down here. And then, not related to the evolutionary line, but we also have a clownfish, Prianello. I feel like I did too much with this design. I tried to go in way too hard on the clown aspect, I think. It looks kind of weird. I'm not sure about this one. It's like the egg, the like circles all around it, these are supposed to look like anemone eggs. So the idea is that like Prianello helps like spread the eggs around so that like Melancholy can reproduce and that sort of thing. But I don't know, it looks weird. But at the same time, I feel like the reason I went with this was because I didn't know what else to do with it. I think I'll have to have a think about that one. It's a bit of an odd one. Alright, let me close those. Next up, bird. Literally just a bird. It's Fairen, which is based on, I believe it's called the Splendid Fairy Wren. So it's basically just the Splendid Fairy Wren. I don't know what the hell I was doing here. This one's absolutely getting redesigned because it's literally just a bird. But it evolves into Sylphlia, which is based on a lyrebird, which I designed to more or less just be a lyrebird, but I did have the more unique aspect of its tail feathers here as sort of supposed to be like a lens, like a magnifying lens. And so it's light type, and it attacks by like reflecting the light through its tail, which I thought was a neat touch. So maybe I'll do something with Fairen to make it so that like Like maybe its tail is starting to get that. And then it fully develops with Sylflyer. Because this is just a bird. I can very clearly do more with this one. Oh, I like this next one. This, oh, I didn't mention it, but around when I did the dolphins, I started taking these photos right next to my window, so they have better lighting. You can probably see that the images are a bit clearer now. This is 4Kid. It's based on I believe it's called the Flying Duck Orchid. And it's a plant, it's a flower that looks like a duck. So I basically just did that. It's a flower that looks like a duck. And like the head here, this isn't where its brain is. Its brain is actually here. Fun fact, the reason why the original plant this is based on is shaped like a duck is because insects will like fly down and land on the head, but the petal isn't enough to support their weight. So it dips down and drops them into here, the body of the duck, which is covered in like a sticky fluid that it uses to digest the insects. Sort of like a pitcher plant, I'm pretty sure. At least I'm pretty sure that's what I remember from it. But yes, it's a flower pretending to be a duck. Next up, spiders. I had to try and figure out how to make spiders cute. This one's probably going to get redesigned because it's literally just Spinnerack. I didn't know how to make spiders cute, so I'm just like, hey, just make it Spinnerack. But I'm pretty sure I can do something more with this. This is Spydig. It was originally based on the funnel web, but I also incorporated aspects of like trapdoor spiders and burrowing spiders to make it more interesting. Because for some reason I thought, hey, funnel webs, they're like burrow, right? No, they don't. Why did I think that? But it evolves into Atricom, which does look more unique-ish. Maybe that just looks like Galvantula, I don't know. But I like Atricom more than I do Spydig. So I'm probably going to redesign Spydig to not look just like Spinnerack. But Atricom can stay. It's got dirt, it's got legs. I don't know what to say. Oh, this next one's difficult for me. This is Kelpard. It's a dog. It's based on a Kelpie, which is like a common sheepdog used in Australia. Problem, I didn't know what to do with it. It's a normal type, so I basically just made it a dog. The only real interesting aspect is like it's named Kelpard because like it's a Kelpie that can act as like a shepherd. So its tail is supposed to be shaped like a shepherd's hook or crook or whatever it's called. But that's it. Other than that, it's literally just a dog. And the problem is I don't know what to do with it beyond it just being a dog. So you know, I'll have to have a think about that. Oh, even past me said that. It probably looks too much like a normal dog. Oops. I just didn't know what to do with it, and I still don't. But it is indeed a dog. Dog is good enough. I don't know. I mean, have you seen the Gen 9 dogs? There's like 3 new lines of dog Pokemon. They're all unique. They're not just dogs. Anyway. Unrelated, but still also pure normal type. This is Showtyke. It's based on a feral boar. Those exist in Australia. I feel like I made it look too similar to Tepig. It's basically just a Tepig with fur. Or I guess the head shape is a bit different, but the face still looks the same. But I mean, it's a pig. That's the problem with normal types. Unless I have a very clear idea of what I want to do for a normal type, I don't know how to make it not just look like an animal. Because you can't just slap an element onto it, you know? Anyway, Showtyke evolves into Pigrunt, which I'm not fully sold on Pigrunt's design. I feel like I could make it a better transition between the first and final forms. Because at the moment it's just a longer pig. And then it evolves into Abhor, which has got a big old hump. I don't know why I decided to do that. But I mean, as past me said, could probably use rollout pretty well. For some reason, that's what I decided to go with. It's got a big hump. It does a thing. It do a roll. Yeah, these are all feral pigs. I feel like Pigrunt I need to work on a little to make it a better transition between Showtyke and Abhor. But yeah. I think we might end it there because we're basically at 12. And I know we've only gotten through like not even half. I designed a lot of creatures back then. There were a lot. But like if I wasn't talking for the first half hour, we probably could have gone through all of them. Gotten through exactly half. So I can probably go through the rest in another stream at some point. Just chatting. When I feel like not playing a game and just talking about things. Let me just go back to the chat scene for posterity. Oh, and for any of the people who are still here from the raid, if you don't have anything to do on New Year's Day, or if you're in my time zone, the day after New Year's Day, I'm doing a karaoke stream then to celebrate my 1-year anniversary of my debut. I got the thumbnail down there. So yeah, that's probably going to be it for today. This was nice. I didn't think I could do a just chatting stream because I feel like I don't speak well enough. But I mean, this worked. I just needed, you know, actual topics to talk about, which I had this time because I went away for a while. I have things planned for while I'm still on break. And I have a crap load of creatures to look through. So I guess as long as I, you know, actually have things to talk about, I can still do just chatting streams. But this was good. This was good. Didn't have to think too hard, just had to look at things I've drawn in the past. It was fun. Thank you all for tuning in for my little comeback after Christmas, I guess. So my next stream is probably going to be Friday. I'll probably do it in the morning, like this sort of time, instead of my usual Friday time. Because like my usual Friday time is after work, and I don't have to work right now, so like I'm not going to bother doing a later stream. I can just do it in the morning. And we'll probably be playing Game Dev Tycoon, because I want to play more Game Dev Tycoon. Anyway, we still have... Thanks for the stream. Thanks for the stream, was comfy. Glad I could catch it. No worries, everyone. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate all of you. Oh, and she's probably not here right now, but thanks again to Star for the raid. I didn't expect the raid on a Just Chatting... We've got more viewers on this Just Chatting stream than I usually do on my gaming streams. So, you know, that's the thing. Let me mute my desktop audio so I can see Twitch to see, like, who we can potentially send this love over to. Who is online? Let me pause that so I don't have to listen to myself. Bye. Da-da-da. Oh, streams this... No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There's someone I kind of want to send it over to, but I might have to raid and run because they're playing Pokemon. Let me just check. Where are they in the game? As soon as the ad ends. Because in case anyone wasn't aware, I still haven't finished Pokemon Scarlet and Violet because I got right up to the end and then my laptop broke, so I couldn't stream console games anymore. So I've still been spoiled on a lot of things, but I'm still trying to avoid them where I can. Oh, she hasn't even started playing yet, so we can raid. Let's raid. Chibi, what numbers are in your name? 126. What? Right, thank you for the sub. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Oh wait, are they not? They mentioned golf. I have no idea what they're playing. Okay, Chibi is someone I think I raided into them once, like ages ago. I've watched them sometimes. Oh wait, was that a gift? Oh, that was a gifted sub. I'm dumb, I just read the stream elements. Theo, thank you for gifting Rai the sub. I'm dumb. Oops. Sorry. Chibi's cool, they're my friend, yeah. I probably raided into them from one of your streams, Kaz. But, yeah. I think they're playing Pokemon today. I might have to dip once they actually start the game, but they're on the Just Chatting screen right now. Oh, raid messages, quickly. This one, if you're not subbed. This one, if you are subbed and can use the emotes. Thanks for watching, Otsukama. Bye-bye, I wasted too much time. Here comes the raid. Where's my end screen?